The victorious Australian cricket team arriving in Sydney at the Sydney Cricket Ground and parading with the trophy. There was a lot of glamour there. There was a lot of celebrations there. It was a proud feeling for Pat Cummins because as a captain, he achieved the three-peat. World Test Championship, check. Ashes in their pocket, check. And now the World Cup. For the sixth time, they won the World Cup, and this was the sweetest of the lot because they defeated a rampaging India in the final at Ahmedabad. Okay, now a lot of fans here are saying, please don't remind us of the hurt because we are just trying to get over it. But just admit it, you're still scarred by that loss. Australia played the perfect cricket and Pat Cummins became a man true to his word. Prior to the match, he stated that yes, it would be great if I could silence the Indian fans up. It would be a great opportunity indeed. And boy, did he live up to his word and ensure that the Indian fans were silenced. Boisterous, confident, we were all there heading into the final. We felt that maybe a minor miracle can stop India. But the minor miracle did happen. And when the silence echoed around the Narendra Modi Stadium, Pat Cummins stated that this was the most memorable moment that he's ever had in this World Cup. Because Pat Cummins stated, after the Virat Kohli wicket, remember Cummins banged one on the pitch, Kohli tried to run it down to third man, inside edge, bowled for 54. After the Kohli wicket, Steve Smith said, boys, listen to the crowd. They listened. It was as quiet as a library. 100,000 plus Indians there. I'll savor that moment for a long time. It was so quiet that you could even hear a pin drop. And you could sense the fear of gloom that had descended upon the Narendra Modi Stadium because with India's run rate dipping each and every time and the batsman just not able to rotate strike due to some clinical bowling, India were well below par. Australia fielded with brilliance. And Pat Cummins, true to his word, had said it. Before the match and even during the match, he silenced the Indian crowds emphatically. And for that, we have to give credit to Postman Pat because he always delivers. It was intimidating because many people say, oh, Australia are used to playing in front of IPL crowds. But IPL crowds are different. People will come in casual wear and that time what happens is they support the respective clubs. They don't support the Indian cricket team during the IPL. But you just had a panoramic vision of the Narendra Modi Stadium outside and inside when the final was about to begin. It was a sea of blue. Everybody was wearing the Indian cricket jersey, all the 100,000 plus the thousands assembled outside on the giant screen. What happened then? It became very intimidating. But Australia know how to raise their mental game at the key time. And that's what Pat Cummins stated. Everyone was wearing the blue Indian jersey. I was just thinking that it will be really satisfying that if we shut them all up. And indeed they were shut up. When Rohit Sharma fell, at that time you could sense, we are in trouble. But when Virat Kohli fell, you sensed that every fan dreaded the worst. India were boisterous for the first 7 overs. They had taken 3 wickets. But after that, Travis Head hit them into oblivion. And whenever a 6 was hit, you could even hear the on-air commentators, silence in the crowd. The crowd are silenced yet again. I have never seen a crowd go more silent. This was the common theme among all the commentators that were there. So, it was indeed very satisfying. If you're an Australian fan, you'll love this because shutting down a 1 lakh crowd is something that is there. And if everybody is saying that this is a new phenomenon that has come in Indian cricket, I am very sorry. Those people who are saying that it is a new phenomenon where people go silent when the opponent hits a 4 or a 6, check out the 90s. The 90s was even more blatant. There would be very muted applauses for a milestone of an opponent. Yes, there would be generous applause later on in the 21st century. But Ahmedabad of 2023 was like the 90s style fan, where an opposition landmark would not be cheered that much. A 4 and a 6 would be greeted with pin drop silence. But now look at the punishing schedule that Australia have had. Ever since the start of the year, Border Gavaskar Trophy from February, March. They then had 3 ODIs in India, March, which they won. IPL, then they went to England for the World Test Championship and the Ashes until July. They then headed to India back in September, played ODIs, then the World Cup until November. Now 5 T20Is. Most of the World Cup core are back in Australia because from 14th December they'll have to play the Test series against Pakistan, 14th to 18th, 26th to 30th and 3rd to 7th. That is the Test match dates and it's part of the World Test Championship. Cummins though has stated that you are ready for it. These small breaks do help. He stated rest and rotation is going to be there in the Australian team. He dismissed that notion outright, which is music for his compatriot Cummins. Mitchell Starc. Because Mitchell Starc has often been rested and rotated, but he's often shouted out against saying, I've not had the chance to play Boxing Day tests. How can I be in rhythm? So Starc, and this news will be really important. You never miss a test if you are fully fit. Bulk of work we have been able to do is because of those small gaps. Small gaps in break. After the end of the Ashes, there was a month's gap. And then they came to India, played the South Africa tour as well as the India tour, and then they continued their winning ways. So, bulk of work we have been able to do is because of those small gaps. If we are fully fit, we won't be resting. So, Australia want to end the year on the ultimate of highs. Beat Pakistan in the Test series and ensure that they go on top of the World Test Championship. Remember, Australia have lost 2 tests against India in this current cycle. Plus, they drew 2-2. They drew 2-2 against England. So, the start of this World Test Championship cycle has not been that great for Australia. Sure, they may have retained the Ashes, but they have always struggled in the A-ball if they don't start well. We all wonder, right? Why was there not too much of crowd at the airport to greet them? Why do the Australian public don't care that the team won the World Cup? One thing is for certain, the Australian public know how to celebrate in a much more mature way than India. India, even if there are no celebrities, the tendency to mob and the tendency to ensure that everybody's private space is just screwed up is a big problem. Australia respect their sportsmen and that is why they just gave them their space. You go to Australia, you will understand the culture of winning there. It's mature. Unlike England, unlike India, where the culture of just mobbing any Tom, Dick and Harry for that matter, that is a big problem. And that's why Australia in a very mature way have opened up. Like, yes, we wanted to silence the crowd in Ahmedabad. They did it. And that is the reason why they are mentality monsters. They can really turn their A game on when the chips are down. And 99, 2015, 1987, a mixture of all of that, Australia are now 6-time champions. And now they'll be hoping to end a glorious 2023 by winning the Test series against Pakistan also. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.